record. Alright, tests. Okay, I think we're good. That's game 1, or that's game 2. Okay, let's get this show on the road.
That's cool.
Missing Harb. Have to pay respects. Because he's a noob.
Yeah, he does need a lot of help, honestly.
That looks like easy 2-0. Disregarding it was a 55-minute game.
It was the easiest 2-0 of my life, man.
Easiest
Really
2.
was. It really was,
So
honestly.
Game 1, we actually felt in control the whole time. We were never worried. We just goofed off. Game 2, we almost lost because we just made a bad fight decision. After a good fight decision.
Did we almost lose game 2? I actually don't remember.
Yeah, we did.
Okay. So those are
They
all
took
good
that-
things to identify, yeah.
They took that mid tier 3 and then they stuck around because they were stupid. Or they should have committed to the max or back up, and they just committed one hero, then we killed them, and then they chain fed. So we won the game.
Classic.
It was good.
So they have picked Huskar.
So that's game 2.
This
looking at.
this is game 2?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. You edited it.
Yeah.
I've been led astray.
Duped you.
This is game 1. Alright. It looked like they, 23 drow, we 24 anti-mage or something is what it looked like.
I don't recall. I don't pay attention
I
to
think
picks.
so.
It looked like something like that. I guess we'll find out. Zip on through this. Boom, boom, boom. First pick Lena.
I think we took Anti-Mage second phase because we didn't expect it to go through.
I guess Harb's the drafter. Marana Jakiro just feels really weird.
You're right.
Oh,
We don't know what happened there. I don't know
Yeah.
why that was.
you didn't even ask me if I played Shakira, you kind of just locked it in.
It just feels really weird. These are two heroes that I think are only good when they have like a distinct purpose for picking them. Like Marana, you have setup. And I guess you can draft setup, but normally you pick the setup right after, so it just like you have a set in stone game plan.
Mhm.
Same with like Jakiro. Normally Jack's like a lane specific thing. I don't it just feels awkward, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention the other thing is that these aren't the strongest of heroes right now, and you first phase both of them, and they don't synergize together. So it's like you've committed both of your priority early phase picks into low priority heroes that don't set yourselves up to play a certain way. So whenever Harb watches this, and you guys can help him, your first phase should set your game plan.
Okay.
So it should be, whether that's a strong off lane that you can build your draft around, or it's you 8-pick a carry with a good game plan in mind. Like some teams, for example, pick like Elder Titan Luna.
Mhm.
That was a pretty popular first phase pairing at TI because it's a good lane and it gives your team options to draft around afterwards. That's just an example. Another example would be like Marana Sand King, right? You can then play around that pick off and split push potential of that. So those are just examples. Lena Mars I think is pretty good too. Gives you some flexibility. It's a good lane.
It is a very strong lane.
Right. Absolutely.
So here we picked. I was looking at a combination of Sand King, Darkseer, and Axe, and I chose Axe because I feel like if they went for the mid Lena, the other two would just kind of not do anything. and Axe against mid lane is very strong. So I kind of wanted something that would synergize with the heroes that we have, but also be useful after the lane. I feel like Darkseer doesn't do well against Lina, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, the biggest problem is that none of your cores are set up for success here. Axe is going to get counterpicked here. So, in my opinion, you could pick your carry that you want into Mars.
Well, ideally you'd pick a support here because you're...
Yeah, and that's the other reasoning is like you can't pick a support here, so no matter what you pick here, it's getting 1-to-1 countered by their carry.
Yeah.
And that's kind of wasting the purpose of having second pick, where you normally want to be the ones countering them, not the other way around. So you're going to...
I also trusted that, and honestly, those three heroes, Sand King, Axe, Darkseer, any of them can salvage a lost lane by cutting. It's easiest, of course, on Axe and Darkseer, but like Sand King can do it just fine, especially after level 3.
Yeah, I think Sand King would have made a lot of sense there. I think Sand King is really good versus Mars as well, because you can always
just come up to a patch, and I was looking at it. I think Axe got a slight buff.
He did, yeah. He did, I have no idea if he's good or not, so it beats me. But you're right. Like, if your plan a lot of times is to just let Axe cut and then do other things, I think that's a fair way to think about the game. It puts a lot of pressure then on your other heroes. Your other heroes need to be able to do stuff without you, though.
Yeah.
Right. So that kind of and it looks like you pick AM here.
Here we wanted the anti-mage because we knew they would ban it.
So I will say I don't think AM is good versus Drow. I think it's a common misconception. You guys probably felt it in this game at a certain point. If the Drow has like a couple items, the AM actually can't get on top of Drow.
Yeah, I think that during the mid game,
yeah, especially
we had some issues. But once we hit late game, like late enough, Harb just outfarmed the shit out of this guy, and it was too big.
Right, and it's this is obviously this is like very playstyle based, where like so AM needs to get to a very late game scenario to beat Drow, in my opinion. So if you're gunning for that, I think gunning for that in drafts is really weird.
That's risky.
It's risque, absolutely. So we already talked about like these first 3 picks. If the Axe is going to cut, he's going to be kind of useless, so you need a rallying hero of sorts. So I'd love some sort of, tempo setter hero that can brawl.
I lost all fears of this game being lost. Like I just knew we were going to win. Because they just can't touch me in lane anymore. Their off lane's going to be a Hoodwink Mars, which like that's kind of scary, but like it's an anti-mage, he'll be fine.
So let me ask you this. They picked Omni Knight. It obviously signals a very mid-game heavy timing, right?
Yeah.
Who does damage on your team at 25 minutes?
Blade Mail, that's it.
But you see what I'm saying, right? So
Yeah.
I don't agree with what you're saying. That's all. I get it's partially a meme because they have an it's kind of a meme because they have like Omni Knight's a bad hero, right? Like but I'm looking at your draft. I'm like, wow, you guys have serious damage issues right now. I actually
like I just wanted a Vanguard and just run at the faces, and then we took Zeus for the damage. I'm like, just get Vanguard. I'll run at them, do damage, hope for the best.
Yeah, so this is like... I get the Zeus pick. You're right, you're low on damage. So it just puts a lot of pressure on the Axe this game. So you're pretty much... If you have a bad game this game, then I feel like the game is really hard, right?
Yeah, if my lane doesn't go well, we just lose.
Right, so... And if you pick the Zeus, I feel like you're picking the Zeus knowing that AM Zeus don't do anything. So... You guys, I'm sure, are aware of that. All right, so we get into the game here. It's just like I feel like you guys have like almost accepted that the Drow is gonna have a good game, and I feel like if Drow has a good game, they can just like end at 25 minutes. So that's kind of where my headspace is at.
I think I have a little bit of disrespect that may not be warranted, may be warranted for like every single safe laner and contender.
Okay. I mean, there's also like a skill thing, right, where you guys just like they won't execute perfectly or whatever. Did they really? I wonder if they only picked it for the purge. I'm kind of curious.
It was hard to play around with my W. Yeah.
Yeah, mid items are ZZZ. I like the ROP start a lot. So to me, there's one of two things that can go on here with Fishy. You guys are either gonna play to cut or you're gonna play to brawl. So Fishy going boots tells me that you guys are gonna cut.
Yeah, cut. Yeah.
Yep.
I actually told him to go over and cut that wave.
Yes.
There.
It tells me that.
Okay.
Well, that is not what you wanted.
I told him just arrow the creep, and he just kept walking around.
Shit, what's going on, man? Okay. Oh.
I'll admit, I was watching this a little bit, and I was just like, "This is a thing."
Just arrow the creep. It's fine. You've heard, you gotta cut the losses at
I
this.
think he tries here and arrows the Omni Knight.
No. Oh.
All right. He eventually gets it over here. So obviously, Fishy. I don't know how comfortable cutting you are. 50 seconds, you come here, and then you normally just run a. You just.
In the chat.
I know. I'm still assuming he'll watch eventually.
Recording.
My bad. This guy must be like 5K or something.
I'm not 5K. So at least 5K. How dare you disrespect me like that?
No, I said low on purpose. So.
Smile. Alright. Yeah, so honestly, once you have Ring of Health in this offlane, I'm honestly just fucking mode cut.
Yeah.
Just like, play your game. That's what I would do.
Timing when you can take stacks. It's just what you want.
Yeah, it's the timing you can start to tank creep waves without dying. You could honestly do it before. And, if you had a salve, you can just salve, and then that'll get you to the Ring of Health, too. That's another thing I see happen.
Yeah.
So this bottom lane, I like that you block the large camp. I would love to see...
Small camp.
No, this is what you want. This is perfect.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't block the small camp.
Yes, you did not block the small camp this time. I would love to see a couple sticks in this lane. But anytime there's a couple of offlaners that when you see, you should just instinctively want to buy stick. Mars is one, Timber is another, Batrider's another, because those heroes sustain lane by using their spells a lot, right? God's Rebuke off cooldown, Spear when you can. Even Hoodwink uses a decent amount of spells, so a value stick goes a long way in these types of lanes, and it'll help offset the mana spam that comes from playing a hero like Jakiro.
Okay.
You can treat it in a lot of ways like a Sage's Mask if you want to, if that helps you think about the value. It's just kind of like a passive value thing.
Okay.
It's probably like 30 to 45 mana per minute based upon Mars's spell usage.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like a mathematical backing behind it. I haven't, ran the numbers, but
I do think I do end up getting a Sage's Mask in this game, from what you said last time about Shakiro.
Yeah, I like that a lot, and we're learning. Smile. I think the next step, Sage's Mask, and or stick. I think you can like pick one of those to fly out first, or start with, In this case, I would have picked stick, but I don't hate Sage's Mask, right? I think that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Or that's just an optimization thing. And also Harb should have a stick too, so he's not out of this.
Satch, Courier dead.
So the next big thing is we've set up this this is awesome, right? We've blocked their hard camp. We have our smaller camp. The next step is looking to stack every time you can. Absolutely. And if you can't stack it, looking to half pull, which is something maybe we're not super comfortable doing yet, so maybe we need to practice on it. Half pull is just where you get the back half. Did we talk about that last week? I actually don't remember.
Yeah.
We did talk some about it.
You get the back 2 creeps.
I don't know.
Normally you just pull late, or
No, he tries.
you try. That's fine.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, the thought's there, so that's fine. It's a work in progress. So you have Ring of Health. I want you to get the fuck out of here. Just go pull. Go.
Yeah, I missed the pull there.
So I noticed there's this trend a lot of times on heroes that want to cut where you get stuck.
Sitting here.
You get
Yeah,
stuck
just
sitting
get away.
here because you're like, oh, I need this XP,
Yeah.
right? And I'm guessing that's exactly what happens here.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah,
you
I just needed to ditch the XP. And
just
go,
ditch, just give it to your Marana or something. Say, yeah, if should take this, I'm gonna go cut this next wave, and you'll catch up on the experience very quickly, because you're getting extra camps and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because what's happening here, I mean, I guess you get first blood, so it winds up working out. But just get out of
No,
here.
you're correct. That shouldn't have worked out. Like I said, I disrespect because I think they're all bad. But
Yeah. What you said is absolutely correct earlier in the draft, where you said you can salvage any game.
yeah.
The same thing applies to these kinds of heroes. The same heroes, where they can, what's the word? Where they can rapidly grow, like expand their games. It goes both ways. Where like if you have a good start, you can compound that good start by then being super efficient and out farming the enemy, and then you're like 1,000 gold up, right?
Yeah.
So it applies both ways to where, okay, you have a good start on X, I go cut, I get this insane timing, XYZ.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And it doubles down because you want to play for the fastest item timings you can this game, because we already talked about where, like, you're the hero this game. You're the one that makes the gears turn in the draft. So that's why I'm focusing so much on your play in this game, because you kind of, the way your draft has been set up, it's like, if you don't have a good game, how the fuck does anything happen?
Yeah.
So I don't mean to harp on your hero. It's just
No, you're correct. I understand.
And it seems like Harb has a pretty good lane down here. Right here? Go stack.
Alright.
So just small things, right?
Yeah.
It's something to be conscious of, where like an easy way that I think about it in game is if I feel like I have downtime or I'm in downtime, can I stack?
Check the clock. Yeah.
Check the clock, right? If I have downtime. And a lot of times it's like a feel thing where you're like, oh, you don't feel like you're doing anything? Check the clock. Go stack, right? The timings normally match up to where you can find yourself being useful in that downtime then. And that's how you get better as a player, is you have less downtime.
Alright.
That's just
Yeah,
that's a small thing that I do. And this isn't like, bad. It's just maybe not like the best play available. Is kind of what we're going for.
I think we were wanting to try and kill the Mars there,
Okay.
but
Yeah, I mean that's fine too. If you anything I say in these reviews, if you guys have like pre-planned out something to do, go for it. Right? Like this is
Right.
just me talking. I don't know what happens in the comms in these games.
yeah.
It's mostly just us flaming fishy.
Fair.
Fuck
Okay.
yeah.
So
Or
you-
snow.
Snow runs top with the haste. I think that's a good gank, Snow.
He has boots too. It's
This is a great gank. You have boots, you got a haste rune, you ran top, you run back mid. The downtime on this gank was very low. Love it. Love,
I don't know how
love,
this
love it.
Lina is. So I noticed this in the last season. This Lina is just massively fucking farmed. I don't know what she's been doing. Is it just that small camp? Like,
I think so.
It seems like small camps, yeah, and just CS,
CS is
overall, right? You look at the CS. And a lot of that's from the small camp, so, and something you can do is, as a team, I see a lot of times, you guys can smoke out a base and just run here and block this with a sentry. That's what a lot of
against
people
the
do.
hero who wants that? Yeah.
Yes, a lot, like these Linas, like even Zeus, like Shadow Fiend, any hero that can abuse the small camp, just go block the small camp, or yeah, just go block it.
Yeah.
That's something that's like it's an easy thing that you can do that'll help offset these things.
That makes sense.
And it looks like we're gonna start cutting here, so this is very nice. Harb is trying a game. I do think, Harb, there is value when you have a hero like Jakiro in buying an Orb of Venom just for that extra little bit of slow.
Note that Harb bought a wand.
He did. Yeah.
God Gamer.
God Gamer. I think I would have bought it. I would have gone stick Ring of Health wand, not Ring of Health wand. So small things.
Demigod Gamer.
Yeah. And if you're gonna cut, what's the plan here?
Was to block the small camp and
Okay, and then farm the large camp. Okay, this is fine. And just make sure we're back in time to catch the next wave. We are not. So
actually go chase the drow. Which may not be optimal, but
yeah,
it's fine.
honestly, on these kinds of heroes, get it out of your head that
You care about what the
you don't give a shit what the enemy carry is doing.
Yeah.
The only thing that matters is that you are as farmed as humanly fucking possible.
Yeah.
The fact that the drow is actually not in the lane is actually even more reason to ignore her. Because she's farming even less in the jungle than she is in the lane.
Yeah.
Like, I like, you don't give a single shit what's going on here. And eventually Fish is going to leave. Yep. And that's just even more incentive to kind of do your thing. So we're in this weird spot coming out of lanes where your supports are probably going to feel like they're in this really awkward zone, I imagine. You guys don't have a great hero to play around. So supports, when you feel like this happens, excuse me, there's two things that you can do. And we'll bring this up later as the game gets more awkward. You can shove lanes, or you can stack.
All right.
So right now,
Can you do both?
you can't. Yeah, you can. You can even. Yeah, you can do both at times. You know, it's not necessarily mutually exclusive, but generally, it's one of those two things. So, like Jakiro, for example, your AM's gonna be pretty self-sufficient at a certain point. So you just leave him, you go stack. Then when he has Battle Fury, he can take the stacks, you can take the lane, you can trade off. Like, there's a lot of things that can happen.
All right.
It's just everything I'm saying is like playing efficient Dota, where like, I think it's a really important concept to try and understand as supports. This applies to Fishy too. When are you needed in a lane? And if you feel like you're not needed, what can you be doing in that downtime? We slightly touched on it last week with the 5, right? Yeah, where there was downtime to be doing other things. That extends now into this phase of the game where you have a lot of cores that are self-sufficient. Fishy too. So what are you doing in that downtime? Right now it feels like Fishy's just kind of wandering around like a lost puppy.
He's exploring.
He's exploring.
Kills a
He's feeding. So just go stack. Like you've got such great heroes at taking stacks that they can go take them, and then you can take the lane. Like it feels like people are kind of lost in a way. So that's what I would say. Eventually, you're not going to want to do that, obviously. And what timing is that going to be?
Probably when our axe hits his wing type.
When your axe is ready to play, absolutely. Yeah.
Actually, I think we played me before Blink because I'm greedy as hell.
So there is something that you can do in this game where it's your axe has phased blade mail already. So you guys could actually come top on the supports and just take this tower.
I recall calling for them to come top, and then I just kill the guy who's defending it anyway, and we take it with Shakiro, I think, or something like that.
You just kill this guy.
I was like,
Yeah.
wait, I didn't even realize he was level 4. I didn't even check, because I thought he wouldn't be, like, quite that weak. But
Okay. This is actually a really good pause point. Harb, do you need to go top here? You guys can answer for him.
I feel like he didn't need to, but he also doesn't really want to stick around with levels.
So let me phrase this another way. What does him leaving bottom mean for everybody else in this game, from a core perspective?
It means that somebody else will have to go bottom. I kind of felt like that was their next objective, so I went to bottom. I was like, oh, I'm just going to stay.
So I guess you can go bottom, right? Do you really want to be bottom?
I think that the answer is no, but, other heroes have needs. Like, Zeus kind of wants to farm around that mid area.
Zeus will be mid, yeah. We're assuming Zeus is farming mid, so a hero can't go there.
They can't kill me, and that's where all of their kill threats come. Like, the Mars is just going to sit.
Okay, let's put this another way. Whose timings are more important in this game?
Probably the axes.
The axe.
Yeah.
Which is not something you normally think about in the game, right?
No,
where you normally say, oh, the
farm.
carry's priority number one, always.
Horrible wine if he doesn't get farmed.
Horrible whine. He won't whine once he hears this, don't worry. My word's like gospel to him or something, I don't know. But when you think about it, you have two heroes on your team that can sit bottom and not die. AM and Axe, right? AM dies to like a Drow or a Lina rotation, I guess, right? But so do all heroes.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's just Omni Axe down here, can't AM beat here? Hitting the wave creeps, like relatively safe with the Jakiro behind him?
Yeah.
He can. It's not the most efficient farm, but that you're giving that to Axe because he's the one that has to hit the big timings this game.
Yeah.
And that's a super important thing to recognize in the game. Is at this point, whose farm matters the most? A lot of times it's actually going to be your offlaner.
At least early on.
Early on, right? It's a Sand King, it's an Axe, it's a Centaur, right? Some Blink hero.
Yeah.
Sometimes Sand King can go bottom because he can, defend the wave the best. But both of your heroes serve the same purpose at this point. It's just that one hero's farm is more important. I would actually go ahead. Yeah, they used Arena.
I like the fact that my 5 died.
Yeah, this is actually a really good death. I was just getting there. You're absolutely right. This is a good death. You ate Arena. And ideally, that means a core can come down here and take this farm. Axe is going to do it. I think this should be anti-mage, but either way. This frees up your Axe to come sit bottom.
And I knew at this point I was farming more than the Mars because I was taking the hard camp, easy camp, and lane, and he was just getting lane. So I felt like I was doing...
So I'm going to...
better than my counterpart, but I don't know if it was enough.
You're right. You're still farming. It's just not as much as top. You have more space top. That's it, right? You're like, I'm not saying you stopped farming. It's just...
Well, then anti-mage went jungle.
Nobody's even... Okay, I'm done. All right. Harb, suck a dick. So we are farming a lot. Fishy's just sitting top. He's very happy. At a certain point, yeah, you kind of just have 3 cores hitting jungle camps right now. That feels really awkward. But again, your Zeus doesn't want to move around too much. He can gank. He can, like, TP rotate if stuff happens. That's something I would be actively looking for. But otherwise, you guys are just trying to play as efficiently as you can. Right? Harb's got his Battle Fury, so he's going to start, you know, kind of growing out of control. And you went Blade Mail, which I hate. You said it's obviously very greedy. Yeah, you just
anything, and then I went Blade Mail. I didn't think about that during the game. I was just like, I kind of just wanted to frontline better, and I felt like Lena could never touch me if I had Blade Mail. But yeah, definitely it's the case that.
So here's the thing: Blade Mail is a double-edged sword, right?
Literally, yeah.
Literally, that's literally the definition. But like, does Blade Mail have use if you get stunned?
No.
No, right? So if you cop a spear and then get LSA Laguna, aren't you just dead?
Yeah.
Or say you get bushwhacked and then just killed before you get your Blade Mail off, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I imagine is going to happen when you try to frontline this game.
Gotcha. Okay.
You're going to eat these spells, and your Blade Mail is going to be a dead item.
Yeah. Is there, so... I guess in that case, the way that we frontline is just by initiating and killing someone, and then we back out, and then they don't have anyone to go on. Or, like...
The way you...
Otherwise, who's going to do it? It's not me.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, Blade Mail doesn't help you do that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It kind of does, but, like, you're going to get slowed and stunned, and you're not really going to do much. Right? You can't get in.
Yeah.
So, that's my idea of thinking about it, at least. Like, Blade Mail is good. Like, I think you can go this, like, greedier build when you have other heroes your team can play around. Mm-hmm. And, like, make plays about, like, maybe you have a spirit hero or something, or like they can, like, start the fights for you early, and you can go this greedier build. All right, so we're in this awkward phase, right? So nobody can really do anything. So when you can't make, there's 2 kinds of moves you can make in Dota. Does anybody want to take a guess at what they are?
You can gank towers or gank heroes.
You're close. You can gank heroes. You don't gank. You can gank towers, I guess, but you can gank for objectives.
Yeah.
Let's phrase it like that.
Gank to kill the carry, or gank to kill just anyone so you can take an objective. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
I don't. You can gank specific. Okay, let's. I see the confusion. You're not necessarily wrong. Maybe I think I worded it poorly. You can gank to get a kill on their carry, right? Or you can gank. I'm putting this in quotations. You can gank to an area.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying by an objective in this case. So you can control, and this goes back to last week. You can control an area just by having bodies there. Mm-hmm. So, like, right in last week, it was you being Tidehunter. You're really strong, so you sit in their face. That's an example.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Another example of that is, like, if Axe is just sitting in this top jungle, can anybody else really be here?
No. They'd have to bring a lot.
Can they run it? Right, it goes like, can they run into you if you have Vanguard Blade Mail as an Axe? No, it's really hard, right? So what I'm saying is, you went this greedier item build, but you can still influence the game, albeit it's different than you might intend.
Yeah. Gotcha. I see what you're saying.
Right. So you can
push in on its own.
You can sit in this top jungle, and maybe you pull. You can pull this mid wave, you can battle hunger and then run it to your high ground or something.
That makes sense.
Right? So you can, and by doing that, you're forcing the enemies to come to you. Which is what your build is kind of saying needs to happen right now.
Well, that's what Zeus wants to have happen. That's what I want to have happen. You know, all our heroes just kind of want them to run at us so we can murder them.
Right. So you need to play the map accordingly to do that.
Yeah.
So the enemies are not going to run at you out of their own free will, unless they're insanely strong, I guess. Right. Like at this phase in the game, are they going to willingly run into an axe with Vanguard Blade Mail? No. But if you're sitting mid, you've cut their mid wave, their mid tower's getting hit, you're damn right something's going to happen.
This makes sense.
You're forcing the enemy to react to you. But you're not doing it with the intention of, we have to kill them. You're doing it with the intention of abusing where you are strong.
Either we take a fight that's advantageous, or we take a tower.
Or you just farm, right? Like, see you're farming more than them. That's the whole idea behind it.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, when you get this blade mail, you have it coming out, you're super farmed. You guys can smoke up here, get some vision down, start just exerting a little bit of pressure onto the map. Like, if you think about what happens on the map here, you're going to be in here. Zeus is maybe sitting mid. You have vision control up here, so the Drow can't really be in this area anymore. He's scared. So he has to be in the triangle. Which means that one of their cores just doesn't have a game. He's no longer farming. So there's only so much space that you can farm on the map when you aren't on the enemy side. And I talk about it because it feels like a lot of teams, like regardless of MMR, they just play passive.
Understood.
And okay, that's passive is the wrong word. They play reactive. Mm-hmm. And this, honestly, what you're doing right here is pretty damn close, albeit you're alone. I'm pretty sure you die for this. Okay, no. But look at what you just ate. And you were completely alone at their tower.
No, I was like, all right, there are 5 heroes here, guys. We're good.
So you're strong. I know you're strong. All I'm saying is there's a slightly better way to do it.
Yeah, I understood.
You eat those spells, your AM's like obviously super happy.
Harb's never happy.
Okay, Harb is never happy. Noted. And honestly, Fishy, I know you're kind of lost in this game, but what I would love to see from when you play a hero like Mirana, there's 2 things you can do. You can set up on your stuns with arrow, or you can abuse your superior mobility to be annoying. So I'd honestly love it if you were just sitting bottom. You just sit bottom. Maybe you queue this. You sit in the trees. Like, you make it hard for them to take this tower bottom. Jakiro could do it too, but Jakiro is much more useful with the rest of your team in impacting the map.
Pushing towers.
Right. And you do get this tower eventually. So when you get this mid tower or you get that top tower, we have one ward in here. I'd love another one. And we're gonna D ward. Perfect.
People are panicking.
We're having a little trouble. There we go. We got there. It's fine. And look at this. So what you're doing is what I said you could do.
Yeah, I just wait until the tower.
Yeah, we just did it maybe a little bit later than was intended. No. And now you're sitting up here. Notice how who has more map control at this specific moment?
We
Definitely
do.
Us.
You do, right? You have this plus part of theirs.
Yeah.
So the enemies are almost always naturally going to respond. There's 2 ways they can respond. They can respond by taking this area, or they can respond by running in here and killing you.
And they probably think they're strong because they've been farming this whole time, so they're just gonna run in.
Wow,
And, that happens.
that's excellent.
Tip.
And you live. Okay, you live. Yeah, and they think they're strong, but like, they're running into your vision. Like, this is your area. This is
For some
perfect.
reason, that guy was in there. I'm not really sure why he was there, but far down.
And now all of a sudden, the game is like completely wide open.
Yeah.
I don't love that. Okay, I don't love that you go for this tower though. I feel like you could just run into their ancients and farm them.
That makes sense.
Right. Instead of hitting this tower, you go take their ancients, and now they have 0 camps to hit. Right. There's one place that you can go to generally after losing a fight. What's that one place?
Your jungle.
Triangle.
Which part of your jungle? You said it. Triangle.
Triangle.
Triangle. Right? So if they don't have their triangle, where's their drow supposed to go?
He's gonna walk along bottom lane or something.
He's gonna lock the cold, lonely road of depression down somewhere. Who knows where?
And then I think we managed to feed one of us. No, we didn't. All right, very good. This is
So,
a good game.
yeah. And now you're gonna do it, but now they've respawned. And now this feels really forced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So do we see
My
that the
Piranha Yules, the
Yeah.
the enemy mid.
But, like, I mean, that's so hard. Like, you guys are
Yeah.
doing this blind, practically. Like, you don't have a ward in here. So, the only way this works is if you are here before they respawn. Is what I'm saying.
Understood.
So, it's either we're there now before they come in here, and then you kill them when they walk up, or you don't do it at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
And that's why that feels so awkward, is because the triangle is the
We
most
should look at it as I think the mistake is you don't look at it as an objective. You look at these big red symbols on the map and you're like, objective, and then you see this little like triangle area, you're like, that's not an objective. But if we react to it in the same way we would a tier 1 that was being hit and nearby, then maybe it's
so
it's more natural.
you're
you
right.
know?
Yeah. I think it's really important to smoke towards objectives, like, to, if at times. I think another way of thinking about it, though, is that smokes gain map control
Sure.
in any to some capacity. Sometimes they get you a kill. Sometimes they get you a ward down. Most times they gain you control over an area, right?
Mhm.
And Dota is obviously an objective-based game, but Dota is also a very net worth-based game. It's a map control game. So when you control more map, when you farm more, when you have net worth advantages, the game is naturally going to be easier for you, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's why taking away enemy camps, controlling their area, that's why I put so much emphasis on it.
Yeah.
Because when you can take away an area that the enemy needs to farm, if they can no longer farm that area, what happens to their net worth? It starts to plummet.
decline,
It's
yeah,
gonna
relative to
stagnate, or it's not going anywhere. You're not hitting any creeps. So, in my eyes, I view Dota as a game of who can control the most camps, or who can farm the most effective area, while not griefing their own games, obviously, without feeding.
Yeah.
So that's where I come from in all of this.
Makes sense.
But it's a different way than I think is ingrained into a lot of players, because you view it as we have to get towers, we have to get kills.
Sure.
Towers
Yeah,
will
that's what I was
come.
saying, is it-
Towers will come as a result of controlling the right area.
That sounds like sex advice, I'm pretty certain. Sorry.
What?
Anyways,
Control the right area. What do you want?
anyways, for example, right? You control this top area. What's naturally going to happen if you control this top
Tower's
area?
gonna get hit.
This top tower
Just take it
dies,
out.
right? What other thing happens if you naturally control top?
Roche.
Roche, right? Right. Those are the natural things, right? If you control the enemy triangle,
The bottom tower is gonna fall.
the bottom tower could fall, but what objective is being taken away?
Ancient.
Ancients.
No.
So you can treat the triangle as an objective. You can treat the enemy jungle as an objective. You want to control it so they can't farm it. There's a couple ways you can do that. You can do it by smoking. You can do it just by like running in. Like you could do it on Axe a lot of times, or Tidehunter. We talked about it. You can do it right. Just like running in on a hard to kill hero, and then they can't kill you. So now we're in this weird downtime. We have a really nice ward though. I'd love it if we smoked to that ward. Right? Doesn't it feel like the enemies are getting away with a lot when you guys are the ones with the blink, with like the strong offlaner?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Like your axe feels really strong, I imagine. So when you feel strong like that, that's normally an indication that you want to look for a fight. Right? Especially because you have a blink dagger. If you didn't have a blink dagger, maybe we're just talking about controlling areas again. But now you have a blink dagger. Now you can actually, find kills.
Yeah, TP top, but you missed this gank, and then
It's okay.
that guy decided
I think
to
you
be
being...
there.
I think... Oh my god, they smoked. What?
They did. I didn't even watch this back. What are they doing?
Psychotic. I mean, honestly,
I felt
most...
unsafe because
yeah,
they're all
honest...
gone.
Yeah, that's a great feeling. We said gut feelings in Dota are very good. And you should feel unsafe. Look at their mid wave. Honestly, honestly, if I was Utakira, I may have walked up and nuked that mid wave just to fucking see what happens. But this is, yeah, you wait for them to show mid, you kill them after. And I'd love it if we got another deep ward down. We've got a couple to place here. Anytime, just small wording advice. Anytime you get a important core kill, you should always be looking to advance on the map.
All right.
So normally advancing on the map means you get aggro wards down. You stand in like spots where if the enemy walks into their area, they'll die. Maybe you get like a deep ward behind the tower, like something like that, where you've gained control of the area and you set yourselves up to control it for the future. And you kind of do that, right? You had this old ward down here. That old ward, that ward you put down here, secured this top area for you into this time.
I think, do I end up placing a ward behind the tower? I can't remember.
I honestly don't really care where it is. I just like to see aggressive vision, right? Like the locations matter. Like there's a nuanced thing. Eventually they matter, but like we're not there yet. So just get them down somewhere aggressive.
I like putting it back in the between the two towers along that wall there, where it sees out one of the entrances, so we can just see like in there within the jungle or exiting a.
Yeah.
In my pubs, I just buy pub swords because no one else is gonna do it properly to my liking as an offlaner.
Yeah.
So I just like stick them outside of their base once we take that tier 2 or even beforehand.
For me, the big thing is that you guys just had total control of an area.
Now we can't see it.
What happened to your control of that area?
We all went bottom.
You all left, but can you go back in here now easily?
No.
No. Why not?
No vision.
You have no vision. There you go. That's the easy answer.
Taking away your legend rank, I'm sorry.
Fuck, man.
Damn.
The fuck,
It's
man.
fucking brutal.
Hey, I earned that legend 3. I earned it.
I play Crystal Maiden every day.
So we're looking at timings here. So notice how we lost control of top, right? So let's talk about cause and effect here. If you guys are controlling this area, where is the enemy going to be?
Bottom.
This area. So it's really hard to switch control over what area you control without a smoke, right? And we're going to see why right now.
He just knew.
Because why is this so hard?
They already have vision down.
They already have vision down here. This is their area. Same reasoning that we used earlier for us, right? We tried to walk into their area blind. We didn't smoke. We didn't place any wards. We just kind of wandered in. And we paid for it, right? Our axe died. Yeah, we got a couple of cleanup kills, but like those, like they're happy with that.
Yeah.
So if I'm axe, if I'm you guys, I want to smoke right now. I think that I haven't seen a single smoke all game, and I would love to see one because you guys are really strong. You have this blink axe. If you find somebody, they're dead. And I keep coming back to that. So
Yeah.
And it's fine if you want to come top here. You want to control top first. You can control this area, and then you can smoke in, or you can take this tower, or you can Roche, or you could die.
I don't die there. Oh, 50 seconds till I'm dead.
But what's happening right now is
We're trying to re-infiltrate without a smoke.
so. You actually, I mean, you kind of did, right? Your AM, like, you got this top wave all the way in. Harb's over.
He's not going to.
He's over here somewhere. Yeah, he looks fine, but we're no longer placing our team in a place to succeed, right? So we've switched away. Earlier in the game, we want them to kind of run into us, right?
Mhm.
Are we still in that?
I don't
No.
think so.
Why
It's
not?
that. Because A, we have the blink, and B, they're actually strong now because
Right, yeah,
their timing for their heroes.
If they catch you, are you gonna survive?
No.
No, they have Lena Drow. Like, you're dead. So we've switched away from what we were doing earlier to how we want to take fights now, where we have to find a blink call. And that's why I keep coming back to we can smoke, we can look for a fight. We want fights to be on our terms, not the enemies. We want them to be with us starting, we find a kill, we take the fight, bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've identified that, which is completely fine. But this is something we need to be thinking about is, how do we take fights? If your answer is we have to go on them, I'd love to be seeing smokes or active moves, right? Just something to find kills.
Yeah. Instead of just AFK farming waves.
Sometimes the other answer is we counter initiate, which then you can farm waves and kind of play more of a passive style because you're waiting for the enemy to go. But that's not this game.
No.
So the first step is identifying that. And we kind of die. And do we notice how every time we die on our axe, we have to retreat to our side of the map?
Your hard misunderstood what was happening and jumped
Oh,
into the
yeah.
back.
Okay, hate to see it.
I think it was just miscommunication.
Happens. But
It's not quite as bad as hearing. In a previous game, it was a scrim. They were, Harb and Io were pushing top tower with Luna. And I heard, we take this, and I look at my minimap, and there are 4 heroes outside of my base, and so I blink ravaged them, thinking that they were going to jump in, and they were talking about the tower. So that was sad.
right. And
But-
sorry, I'm eating part of a Reese's.
No worries. Yeah.
Miscommunications happen. It's important to not get hung up on them. What's important to me is that we're recognizing now what's happened every time that they've started a fight on our axe. What's happened?
They just win the fight.
They've convincingly stomped us, right? So I'm hoping we're kind of seeing why I've been talking about it so much.
Yeah.
And it's important because like on a hero like Axe, you're kind of snowball heavy. Where when you have downtime, it feels kind of awkward. But once you have this BKB, love to see a smoke, right? What did we say? Power timings. When we have big item timings, those are perfect times to look for plays. Honestly, you could have looked for a play off of Harb having Scotty too. That would have been good. Like anything like that. There's a lot of farming,
That's
and
important for the offlaner to say I'm almost to something, and then you say I have something, and then like hopefully by that, or it's flying out, and then you smoke. Yeah, we smoked with my BKB.
perfect. Yeah, I love this. I bet you win. I'd bet $10 you win this fight. I might be wrong. He has a DD on
I'm
Drow.
taking that bet.
He has a DD on Drow. I might be wrong. Huh.
Yeah, I just blink
Huh.
on Lena.
I've not taken that bet. I see.
I think at this point I realized that Lena has no armor and just kind of dies to blade mail.
I think all their heroes died of blade mail. It's a good blade mail game.
But the rest of them were. So
You got this is awesome. Perfect. You smoked out. This is like textbook. If you could do this a couple times a game, you'd win almost every game easily. You smoked off of power timing. You got a kill. You took Roche. You couldn't ask for a better setup sequence of events, really. Now you get Roche on your anti-mage, so it's important for Harb to recognize this. I'm wondering if he does, but when you have Aegis on a hero like AM, you have to switch how you play. You start playing like in the side lanes, and you start playing like a fucking madman. Because you're super hard to commit onto. So I would honestly, I wouldn't even be opposed if he just fucking blinked into the back lines and started a fight. Like that's the kind of thing I'm talking about, where like you can be the one that soaks the spells.
I think he does something similar coming up here.
Well, you hit an arrow,
Definitely,
so
yeah, we hit the random arrow, and then Harb just kind of stands in the middle of all of them, and then doesn't die somehow.
And we force out all their spells, and now Harb's gonna blink into their back lines. And this is exactly what we want. What's the key component of this?
We have Aegis.
You have Aegis, but what about the fight was something we had talked about? We didn't smoke.
No, we didn't smoke.
How did
we were,
did it start? Whose terms did the fight start on?
We started.
You started the fight. You set the conditions, and that's part of why this fight is so easy, because you're the ones that control the tempo.
Also, I love this part. We're here. We're hitting this tier 2, and I'm all the way up here in the trees destroying it. My shard.
Dude, I love this shard, man. You get the attack range challenge? Hell yeah, you did.
10k building damage on a pause 5 Shakiro.
At this point in the game, it turns into just a game of. Okay, I forgot. We just kind of like tried to beat high ground, but happens. Specifically to me whenever I play.
Okay, well, Harb did kind of pussy out. I think he could have just gone on the Drow, but
Yes, let's blame Harb. Yes.
yeah, let's blame Harb. Yeah, I agree. So
yeah, I think at this point we just started playing traditional anti-mage Dota of slip pushing all 3 waves and not letting them leave, and we just kind of whittled and waited for Roche timings.
sounds good to me. Kind of hit all the big things anyways. Let's go next game. That was a solid hour on one game. Welcome to Brightside Reviews. Thank you.
I'm vibing. Happy to be here.
I'm happy you're happy.
Also, where the fuck is Snow?
You probably was scared I was gonna flame him. Just cowarding.
Goddamn coward, Snow.
Pinged him.
This
So you
next
said-
game I get a lot of spells from this Huskar Abaddon. A lot of Huskar ultis.
Happens. You gotta be careful, man. Huskar players are a dangerous breed. They'll dive in and kill you even if they die.
Even if it's a 5 and you don't kill him, they'll still dive him.
If you're right. You said this game felt pretty easy. What
feel
what
like-
parts of it felt in control?
So I think that it was a Brewmaster game, so it's a bit different. I mean, that's how I look at it. You know, other players are playing other heroes. But in general, I feel like I got all the things I wanted. We then took a bad fight, which kind of hurt a little bit. But ultimately, they made a mistake going high ground, and we capitalized, and then the game was just flat out won.
So before that bad fight, how did you feel about the game?
Like it was like a 75-25 game or an 80-20. You know, like
Okay.
we were most likely going to win.
Yeah, and you know sometimes bad fights happen, so you know that's how it goes. So, what's important is what we did before that bad fight. And you know, can maybe there's different conditions we need.
Yeah, I think we just didn't plan on the Spectre ulting into Aegis sort of situation. We like kind of planned on it and we handled it, and then we just like thought we were gods and kept taking a fight that was bad.
You just picked Huskar here, huh?
Yeah, that was confusing. You'll like the next pick. Yeah. So at this point we just said, unless they're picking Viper 3, we're picking Viper 2.
It's a fair pick. They have Huskar and Spectre, so pretty good Viper game.
Yep, be stupid to not pick Viper.
Pretty good Viper game. And looking at carries, yeah, I mean PA looks pretty good. PL looks pretty good. PL is banned. I see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, PA looks good. Good versus Mars. Pretty good matchup versus Spectre. You can break him later. You have the... Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm... This Brew Lena opening, right? This is a great example of setting your draft up later, right? Because you picked this really strong lane, right? If this is your lane, you can play that lane. And now your later picks, you can get these awesome matchups. Right? You can get this Abaddon pick into the Bane, for example, right? You can get this Viper into Spectre Huskar, right? You guys just kind of set yourselves up because you gave yourselves that flexibility.
Yeah, I think that's typically what we're expecting, is that we're going to be either picking the 1 or 3 first phase, just because it makes it so much easier to draft.
I mean, depending on the snow, like you can pick mids there too that draw the lane. Like you can pick the Lena there, and then you can put it mid.
Yeah.
Right, or you can do like you can pick wind, and then pick wind, put
OD
wind
or
mid. Like I don't know if OD is a draw lane hero, but you know those kinds of things.
I don't blame it.
And we're gonna trade runes.
Note the voice line before I pick up the rune. It's skill.
Perfect.
Next.
Yeah. Once again, just
Yeah,
once again, just I think sticks against Mars really value.
Do you get the charges from Weaver? Gucci?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, if he's in vision when he uses it, you do.
Okay.
Yeah, you do. Absolutely. And bottom, I like our items. Pretty standard. You could go null parts if you wanted to, Fishy, but this seems fine too. Just a lot of stats. So, as a 4, you should always be looking to contest this pull. I'd love it if we pulled right here. Oh, look at that.
Beautiful.
And they don't have a small camp, right? Oh, okay. Well, if we have to hit it one more time for us to get the control of the, but that's the idea. And top,
We're just trying to feed.
kind of a rough. Yeah, it's a bit of. I hate Four Weaver is a pain in the ass to lane against.
Very annoying.
He's very annoying. Yeah. You pretty much just have to sit on sentries, play with your lane partner.
This is ultimately fine for, like, you know, if they use all their mana and, you know, you trade a bunch of them Abaddon doesn't care. It's just like, yeah, alright, you used all your mana, now we still have full health. And then it's kind of easy. So I think it's good against a spammy lane like this.
Yeah. One thing I do want to note about playing melee 5s is there's like a sweet spot to how much you can trade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you're strong, and then you cross like one step too far, and then you just die. That's how I feel about melee 5s. So when you play a hero like Abaddon, you have to be constantly towing that line where you want them to use spells on you, but if you go too far, they use your spells on you and then you feed. So there's this happy medium. And honestly, I would just back up and say, yeah, perfect. But if you when you use your spell, buy another one. Pretty standard. Let Harb kind of eat the brunt of some of this. And you're gonna stack here. Okay, perfect. He's gonna block it, but it's fine. Is that not? That's unfortunate.
Yeah, a little unfortunate.
Little
So
unfortunate.
my lane, I feel like I went for an interesting build. I just went Bracer, so I guess it's like... this is one thing I had a question on. I know that Spectre kind of likes trading, and I know that my hero doesn't necessarily want to trade, but I felt like I couldn't even like approach the wave unless I had some sort of like tankiness and tradability so that I could handle them. I don't know. It's hard for me to decide on better. Oh, you see, this guy knows how to play Dota. Alright, yeah, that makes sense.
This item fixes all your problems that you're talking about.
Okay. Yeah,
Gives you
yeah,
HP, gives you stats, gives you armor, gives you mana.
Yeah, gotcha.
So the
Okay.
soul ring that you're talking about. What were the things
Yeah,
that you're talking about for Spectre? Sam out again?
He likes to trade a lot.
Yeah.
But you can kind of force him out if you just are able to body him.
Okay, so you need to be able to use spells on him. You need to have enough HP to trade with him, right?
I guess you don't really force him out, you just outfarm it. That's the main thing.
So by going Soul Ring, are you going to be able to walk into the lane?
No. You
Why
just gotta
not?
clear it and run away.
You're kind of just going to clear it, or you're going to run out of HP,
Yeah.
right? So that's why Soul Ring feels awkward, especially on a hero like Brew, because you're not going Ring of Health or anything.
Yeah.
You don't have that sustain.
So you're saying earn, stick.
So earn,
then...
like earn, wand, and then supplement as needed.
Okay, that makes sense. Sometimes I feel like Soul Ring's fine. Like definitely the case that...
I feel like in this kind of lane where you're always trading, Soul Ring feels really weird, though.
Yeah, gotcha.
And they're, yeah. I do agree there's merit to, needing to always be able to spam your spells. But if you just ferry out an urn here with boots, I feel like you can just, and maybe a couple mangoes, you can just body the Spectre out.
Okay. Yeah, I sometimes just forget which items exist in the game.
It's fair. Happens. It happens to me all the time. You just forget items are a thing.
The Huskar just ditched.
I see.
Snow. I feel like Snow played this lane too well to not be a Viper spammer. I think he's probably a dirty Viper spammer. Clear.
Well, he is gold tier. I mean, the Huskar just lost his tower at 6 minutes. I don't have much to say. This is very nice from Snow. I mean, he's going to deny it, I guess. Oh, yeah, he didn't even get the deny, so. All right, this is a pretty cool thing that we'll be able to talk about. You don't get to talk about this often, but how to abuse stomping the mid lane.
Never get to talk about this with my mids.
You don't get to talk about it in most games, but sometimes it gets super fucked like this, right? So you have all of the world to do stuff as Viper in this game. The reason you do is because you can always force somebody to show mid. It's 7 minutes in the game. Somebody has to be at this wave that's coming in. So you have, every time this wave is in, you have choices presented to you as the Viper. The choices are, you can farm, you can, so there, okay, there's a couple places you can farm. Let's start there. You can farm the enemy jungle, or you can farm your own jungle. When you have won your lane, which do we think is best?
Theirs.
Yeah, absolutely. You've won your lane. You are the stronger hero. Farm their jungle. Take away resources from them. Other options, you can, if you're behind, you can farm your own jungle, or if you're like farming back to base, you can do it, I guess. But you don't normally do that from the position Snow is in. The last option is you just gank, right? Because you have a lead. You're now going to transfer that lead by helping your other lanes. While that's happening, the Huskar will get some recovery time, but that's compensated by getting kills, right? That reasoning is why when you gank, you better be damn well sure that it's going to get something out of it. Because you're going to, if you leave and you go top, for example, Huskar's going to recover. He's going to get like 5 waves to himself. You get 0. But maybe your carry gets a kill or 2. So that's the trade-off. So I like the decision to just farm personally. You're going to go for an Ados. I think that's okay. I would have liked Ashley boss rush maybe, but Ados is probably fine too. And we're going to split bottom.
I think the Ados is just for the Huskar. Because like that means Huskar can never do anything if there's an Ados in the game before he gets BKB.
True, but he also can't do anything into Viper.
Yeah.
As a whole, right? So
Right.
Viper is the lone hero that I like to talk about. He's a bots rush hero, A, because he's slow as fucking dirt, right?
Mm-hmm.
But B, what timings does Viper excel in?
Probably basically he just wants to get all of his spells up, right?
Like right around now, like talking about game timings, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. He's really strong right now, right? Level 4 poison attack. He's always going to be a threat. The reason you can go bots on him is because just by having levels and existing, you are a threat. Right? If you show up in a lane with level 4 poison attack, what's going to happen?
They're gonna die.
They're going to die or they're going to fucking leave. And that's why you can go bots. Because you are a naturally strong early game hero. And you're going to look to be slightly greedier with the bots, but your hero naturally offsets that greediness. Which is why you see Vipers almost always rush bots. You don't see this Ados item because you don't need it. Your hero is like an Ados and is in it of itself if you have any stun with you.
That makes sense.
And we kind of died top. It happens.
Honestly, I feel like they should kill Harp more often. Like that would just.
It's a hard lane to kill PA. I mean, he's got 9 armor, 1100 HP. So it's a bit hard, and not to mention he has an Abaddon sustained behind him. So I love this move though, right? We get a ward in their triangle. I think the natural move is that if I see Spectre TP bottom on Viper, I'm just TPing bot right away. That would have been my big punish. You obviously.
Also, I would call that out. I'd be like, hey.
I think I think that's absolutely something that should be punished, but yeah, we don't. Instead we kill top, and I think it's fine if Snow just walks top here and we just push them out of here, like whatever. It's kind of awkward, and our brood dies because of it, but I think we probably wind up getting this tower, so maybe we don't, but yeah, this feels really awkward now. Maybe I'm wrong. You walk top with... I mean, your carry... You guys don't do much to this tower. While that's happening, Huskar's mid. I feel like you're just better off farming mid and then running... If you want to run somewhere, run bottom. Because that's where the Spectre is.
And Spectre's way more killable and squishy.
Absolutely, right? When you talk about ganks, you want to talk about who's the easiest hero to gank. Spectre, obviously, in this game.
Actually, I have a question. So
Yeah.
if I take the tower at 6 minutes, what am I supposed to do?
Oh, we just talked about that for like 10 minutes.
We just talked about that.
Okay, I'll look at the video then. Cool.
I think your game feels awkward because you went top and then you ran top, didn't get any kills, didn't get the tower, then you TP'd mid, got one wave, and now you're gonna run bottom. So it's like 3 minutes of downtime where you haven't really farmed, you haven't really done anything.
Yeah.
So it feels like you're wasting your hero's strength, right?
Yeah.
And that's partially where I think I talked about the Ados. I don't think you needed to go it. I think you could just go bots and TP around the map and kill heroes.
Okay, fair enough.
You killed Centaur.
And that was probably just fast crap.
Centaur creep. Yeah, like you walk bottom here, that's completely fine. But now you don't have a TP, so now you're kind of stuck here. So now you're gonna walk back mid. You're gonna smoke, which helps us. We find this. What's he doing here? Whatever. Good kill.
Goober.
I was surprised. I was like, why?
He's being a goober.
Um,
We're out of mana. Sucks.
no, you didn't say anything. It's fine.
You didn't split in time and your soul ring ran out.
Yeah, happens.
Happens. I do want to know, this applies to the whole team. When you take a tower, the mid tower this early, the easiest way to abuse the advantage you get from it is by always having heroes in this area. Right?
Gotcha.
Right, when you think about when there is a tower here, what can't you do?
Walk into the...
You can't really be anywhere in this area, right? But this is like free territory, or this is like free real estate for you to have. Free territory, free real estate, whatever, right? You can just walk in here. You can shove the wave in. That nobody can contest you here. So we should be abusing the fact that the enemies have to defend their waves and just taking the free space we get. We like kind of do that, but like I feel like somebody should always be mid shoving this in. We can then shove mid, and then we can go top after. Like, we can walk into their triangle. When this mid wave is in, we have a lot of options available.
Gotcha.
And we want that because we've already talked about we have Viper. He's really strong.
I
Like,
don't know what this. That was the strangest go of the game for me. That was the stupidest shit.
I mean, I don't think he saw Viper, but yeah. I don't know.
He jumped onto an Abaddon on their high ground next to a tower. Like,
Who knows, man? But
I think we have one really griefy team fight in this game.
yeah, that's what he talked about. This is perfect, though. You won the team fight, and it kind of leading up to that, though. It was like, how do we take?
Minutes of doing nothing.
It was like 2 minutes of we like waited for them to run into us when I feel like we could have just like stood in their space and gotten more farm. That's all it really boils down to.
We've gotten more farm than at least.
Yeah, and I think this one thing we keep coming back to, right, is the idea of just controlling space. And that happens when you're ahead or you feel strong or you hit a timing or something. It generally happens in the early game, though, where you guys have an advantage, so you're just going to walk into the enemy's area.
Yeah.
And they can't physically push you out. They're not strong enough to. So I love to just see a little bit more of that.
Okay.
Where you're not really like intending to kill them. If you kill them, it's great, but like you're just doing it to take their farm, take their space, control the map. As we have a 5k gold lead, like when we have split, we're super strong. Obviously, we probably need to wait for that.
We're calling
but
out that timing every time it was up for like 60 seconds. We'll take a fight.
yeah, and they're gonna smoke in here. This is a
Kill Snow. This is bad.
kill Snow. Yeah, this was pretty. I mean, okay. It's obviously a smoke gang, so it's hard to see coming. But like, so nobody is mid. Your Abaddon is standing in the mid wave. Bottom is hitting their tier 2 tower, and their top wave is pushed in here, right, Snow?
Yeah.
So at this point, your like warning flares in your head, they should be like deafening. In terms of like, oh my god, what the fuck is happening? They have to be doing something. And maybe you still get caught by the smoke. And you know, sometimes they're just better than you, right? So, but it seems like you just wanted to farm, so that's all.
Yeah, that's why I didn't show the wave. And I mean, the way I think it, that's essentially a bad smoke because they don't really get anything from it. Maybe a kill, maybe they push out a couple of waves, but isn't that a bad smoke, to be honest?
When you are behind,
Okay. Yeah.
when you're behind and the enemy is stronger than you, or I guess we'll phrase it from our perspective. When you're ahead, right? We're 5k gold up at 15 minutes. What happens when a core dies?
Just creates a vacuum.
Creates a vacuum. Go ahead, Snow.
Yeah. I mean, we are not increasing our goal lead. They get time to catch up.
They get time to just chill, right? You're not going to force a fight 4v5 unless something crazy happens.
Yeah.
So this is just 35. This is 40 seconds for them to just play the top side of the map. They don't necessarily get a bunch of, follow-up stuff, but I mean, if they get a secondary kill here, that's awesome for them.
They do grip in a bad.
Again, though, they're the ones that are behind, so they're going to have to expend extra resources to get kills.
But at this point, we're just calling for a fight because, like.
Now you have split. Your Viper is respawned. Now you can take the fight. Absolutely. And they're fucking psychotic. You don't even need split. And at this point, I might just walk into Roche.
Which I think we
Oh.
Yeah. And this is Harb should know this. He's probably the one calling it. He is Deso.
No.
Yes, that's
That was me.
Don't say that. Yeah.
But this is a great call. You have Aegis. You get the Aegis. They try to.
This is the fight.
This is the grief.
Yeah, this is the grief. So I go look up our Viper. Our Viper dies, and we're still like talking like we want to go in.
Nah, get the fuck out of here.
Harb was saying run because I have no mana. I feel like Harb should have just killed himself to somebody and then had more mana, but it's easy to say.
You also can just cut. You could also just cut your losses. So
That's what we should have done. I think.
Really important concept, right? And it revolves around taking Roshan. It's what normally happens as a result of a team taking Rosh. What do you have to do that?
And resources.
You have to expend generally a lot of resources, right? Costs you mana, HP, CDs. So the enemy, the reason Rosh is such a contestable thing for the enemy is because it's something else that you guys are using your resources on that is not killing them, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when you expend a lot of resources, especially early on to get a Rosh like this, after you get it, just cut your losses. Maybe you lose a couple supports or like one core, but just get out.
Yeah.
Unless the fight is like a stomp, I guess, but like most times it won't be.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Like every single hero is going to be slightly less useful, so you might look at yourself and think I'm less useful, but my other heroes are going to have use. But like,
right, let's just take note of how our resources look going into this fight, right? Harb is half HP, no mana. Indeed is half HP, half mana. Less than half HP. They hunt,
yeah.
but we've started the fight off with essentially half a hero down on two of our cores. So we're seeing where I'm going, right?
Yeah.
I think we were surprised they managed to get there that fast, but I think it's also just we're
That's a
not
good
very
way to
judicious.
Right, like if you just left right here,
Yeah. Just
this is good. You got the kill, you got the Rosh, get the fuck out. Maybe you lose Fishy, Snowstorm, just get out of here, man. Like,
yeah, I could have.
you could also just run down, like. So obviously you guys are talking about it,
cool.
and what I'm saying is kind of hindsighty, but like this happens with every Rosh fight. So it's just recognizing that.
I think that there was another point where we tried to throw, and it was just literally Brewmaster was bad at clicking his buttons, and I had control grouped. Or I'd accidentally selected 3 of them, and the 4th Panto had run away, was not selected, and I tried to tap to it, and I couldn't, and it just died. And then they went high ground.
Happens.
That was just me being bad, but I think that there's other stuff before that we can probably have done.
But yeah, I mean, we still feel really strong, which rightfully so, right? Yep.
Yeah, every time Bruce splits up, like, who they can't touch us. I eventually become 4 Bruce, which is very good.
Thank God for Abaddon.
True.
There's a couple times where you guys are a bit Hambino, but for the most part, pretty. I think this tower probably should have died with this Cardi wave that was down here.
Instead of just diving
Instead, we just dove their team. But it happens.
all the mental damage.
I think we just saw red, and
I do think I hate this Maelstrom, by the way, Snowstorm. I think you should just go Dragonlance.
Okay.
is that because he wants to not be anywhere near the fight?
Yeah,
He wants to move far away?
a hero like Viper, what's he best at?
Slowly chipping people.
He's best at gacking on people, right?
Can you do that again? I didn't catch that.
Blah, blah,
This is
blah.
also sex advice, I think.
It's so hot.
Yeah,
That's the sound of
you gack.
Anyone else weirdly turned on?
You gack on them. So, in order to best gack on them, just get as much range as possible. Get the Dragonlance, so that way when they commit into fights, you if they try to not go on you, you're just fucking spitting on them from like half a screen away.
Yeah.
It's less space to compromise your hero too, if you want to think about it like that. So I think most Vipers just go Dragonlance BKB because it's now they do a lot of damage from a far away, and then if they get gone on, they can live through it.
I mean, the A2s are like when I play Viper against Spec so that he can keep him in the W and the break and hit them.
I think it's overrated. I think once you have slows on him, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
In my opinion, not to mention you have other stuns on your team. So
They decided they wanted to die, so they did.
it happens. Yeah, we had split again. And we take that one fight, we take an objective.
We tried, and they ignored us.
They defend it. We have split again though, so we probably can take a fight if we want to. Snowstorm's gonna TP bottom. Okay, this is actually a really good point. Okay, this is Snowstorm TP bottom, right? What's so special about TPing bottom here?
There's a very easy area to control on the map, which is that bottom drop.
Yeah, so Snowstorm's TPing down here because he knows nobody's here probably, and he wants to shove this in.
Yeah.
But like also, where do we ideally want to be playing right now?
In their bottom drop.
In their bottom jungle. So it makes a lot of sense for us to kind of just follow to where our Viper player is going, because if we sit top, well, maybe we don't get caught by this. Oh. Well, Abaddon dies, so. We almost lost our PA. That would have been really bad.
I tanked the grip. It's okay.
Tank the gank. Nice job.
We were amused. We were laughing at the fact
Yeah.
that they were ripping our
So, once we all respawn, love a smoke. We got a BKB. Hit that bad boy. Nice. Snowstorm's probably going to bots in, I imagine. That's fine with me.
They got time lapsed on him. We didn't realize we've read Ags yet.
We didn't know we've read eggs. That's fine. We didn't use our BKB, though. We didn't...
The second most story fight of the game.
Okay. So, let's talk about this. Lead up to this a little bit. So... we still have both splits. And we have BKB on PA. What's the important... what is the most important factor for the enemy team's fight?
I think, hindsight, they have to get on top of the Viper. If they can get on top of Viper, they can win the fight. If they can get out of the Viper W, they win the fight. That's kind of how I look at it.
I feel like Mars or someone controls Saba while Pain trips and everyone kills Brew.
So both valid points, right? They both probably play a factor. Who's doing the damage, though, on their team?
The Huskar.
The Huskar. So if the Huskar is allowed to hit people,
He wins.
you probably lose the fight, right?
Yeah.
A lot of that probably stems from your Viper not being alive, right? Or your splits not going, or something of the sort, right? But
Yeah. If they don't have him hitting, then they have nothing.
right, so that's a super important thing to identify when we're taking fights at this point in the game, right? Who is the hero on their team that's killing us? Like, what factors do we need to address? So I'm going into this fight, and I'm like, okay, we're either going on the Viper or we're throwing him in the air.
And then
Oh,
BKB.
okay, well, he has a BKB, so we can't do either. We have to kind of have to run or kite it out, right? It's really hard.
Then I think our damage, our damage wasn't there.
Yeah, so once he pops that BKB, you just have to. It's super hard, right? You just got to be conscious of it. But now that he has that, you got to be real careful.
Yeah.
Yeah, think this is where we slow down and we try to get our DJs to.
I mean, yeah, and I think it's fine to slow the game down, right? You lost a fight, you threw your lead a little bit, right? It happens.
Yeah.
But we're still aware that we have like a super farmed PA. We have a Viper who can scale well into their lineup. So we have answers in the late game. It's not like we're
On a
lost. Yeah, it's not like
Really
you're
low
on a
net worth
timer.
on the Weaver, and I don't really care about a high net worth Weaver if it's at the core. Yes, doggy. I have a like 40-pound lapdog right now.
40 pounds, lapdog, yep.
Yeah, he used to be small. All the siblings are small. We don't know why he's big.
So we slow the game down a little bit. So we're no longer in the we want to fight mode. What mode are we in?
Run away.
Avoid fights, control areas.
Yeah, I don't know if we're in a runaway mode. We're kind of just in a shove lane neutral zone, probably.
Vibe.
We're in a vibing mode. Yeah,
This is how hard plays the whole game.
we're in a vibing mode. So that means we want to be pushing lanes as much as we can, farming camps when needed.
They try to kill me here and it doesn't work because disc is a thing.
Yeah,
And then
so
I think
you
this
see
is,
that.
This is the other time in which I messed up my buttons because
Yeah, you double ulti here.
I double clicked my Fire Panda R because I panicked. But then I got a free invisibility, so.
I see that, yeah. But you dodged the gank. We got top lane shoved all the way in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
when we're in this neutral mode, which lane is most important, class?
Bottom.
Middle.
Middle. Why is middle the most important lane here?
Oops.
Most contested.
Most contested, right? If you have the lane here, right? This is a pretty good example. What does the enemy have to do?
Go handle it.
They have to go handle it. So, right, that's information for you. Vice versa, right? If your wave's here, what's happening?
They're running at us.
Well,
They have
maybe they're
information
running
on
at you,
us.
but somebody has to show on this, right?
Yeah.
So that makes it easier for them to do something on the map. So mid control is really good. The fact that this wave is not being pushed is a big red flag, and maybe our Abaddon dies for this.
Yeah, Harbor's in the jungle here, and I was just like, I'm just gonna go and like stand somewhere, and then
Yep.
I find this.
That's really, I mean, honestly, that's pretty fucking good.
That's pretty fucking good, turns out.
Yeah, I
They do
mean,
go get
you ate the gank for your PA. They're gonna get Roche, but they probably get this anyways with Huskar. So you're completely fine with this. Your PA is still farming. You're gonna probably get bottom tower. In terms of what you got off of them getting Roshan, you got a lot.
Yeah.
Got a whole damn lot.
Yes, little dog. Yes, we did.
But again, so now I'd say we probably have entered the runaway mode, but we're probably could be in neutral in terms of how we play the map. Just because, I mean, they don't have a lot of ways to kill us. I like that, Snow, you've constantly been top, though. I love that. You've just been sitting up here being a pain in the ass, dealing with the waves. And I think...
Tries to feed here, but they don't let him.
Just TP bot and shove that in.
Did you get caught here? Yeah, nice. Yep. Oh, wow, you TP'd bottom. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. Now Harb's gonna shove mid. Yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about, though, right? You guys are just being a pain in the ass for them, and you're making it hard for them to group up. That's the important part. So now you deal with bottom. So now they're Mars here. Now they're Huskar TP's bottom, right? So now you can go back top. You can shove mid. It's this kind of rotating cycle here.
I think we ended up trying to take a fight here, and this is where I managed to feed, and then also Snowstorm managed to feed.
Yeah, we have no business fighting. Zero.
Yeah.
Zero.
I think I
Um,
BKB TP'd and
That-
being
you got gripped.
or something.
yeah from the high ground.
You got force gripped. Yeah. But like, think about last week, right? There was times I think it was this group, but
I don't know, he has
when the enemy shows, what can we assume right now in terms of their numbers?
They're all gonna be there.
They're all going to be there, right? Why do we know they're all going to be there? Probably
because they're trying to fight, so they're going to be grouped.
because they want to take a fight. They feel strong. They have Aegis, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
They have a Huskar with Aegis. If they have numbers, they probably feel like they can win the fight, so they're going to be grouped. So us, on the other side of that, say, okay, you want to group up, we're going to kill all your waves. So that's where that bit of, like, cat and mouse game comes in. And sometimes they outplay you, sometimes you mess up, it happens, but... I don't want to. I don't like that we were trying to go on the Aegis Huskar. That was a bit weird.
Yeah, BKB on purpose. That's right. So here's where they mess up, which was very helpful for them. I was very appreciative.
They try to go high ground with the Huskar. Seems pretty normal so far. If I'm Lena, I can probably cast a little bit more spells, but yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, they're gonna you force the Huskar BKB. Yeah, and this is exactly what we have to do, right? We said the big condition is this BKB, right?
Yeah.
So what happens when he doesn't have this BKB? He just fucking dies to Viper and PA. Which, well, he dies to Viper and PA. There it is.
Took his ass to death.
And that's kind of the condition you were waiting for, is you were just farming, you were stalling.
Yeah.
And either the enemy makes a mistake, or you keep farming, you keep shoving waves. But eventually, they're the ones that need to force something. So that's when you respond. And that's exactly what you did.
Yep.
And I'm assuming the game concludes here.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So, pretty important things to talk about. I do think that the one big overarching thing I keep coming back to, though, is the idea of controlling areas with our bodies. Controlling enemy areas because we feel strong. When we feel strong, we want to force the enemy to fight us. So the best way to do that is to stand in the areas that they want to go into. They will naturally lead us to engagements that way.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of opportunities in both of these games that you could look at, and we looked at a lot of them, where...
We just kind of retreated to our safe space, and we could have been kind of in their safe space.
You could have been in their space, taking more of the map, absolutely. And I'm not saying it as a we have to fight thing, but your heroes are stronger. So you feel like you can do something, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm suggesting is that's something.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, I gotta go.
All right.
Thank you for...
Yeah, I think we're just about done here, though. Any other questions? Concerns?
Not any that really come to my head.
Upload the VOD.
I will upload the VOD.
You got any questions, Chico? Oh, she's gonna stay muted. No?
Fishay, I put some... There's a lot of stuff in the Marana game for stuff that you could have done in the early to mid game.
Yeah, the Marana game felt kind of awkward. I'm not
Yeah,
100% sure why.
we did talk about how you guys looked a little lost, so it got brought up. All right, sounds good then. So we'll plan sometime next week. Who knows when? You guys play tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Get the dubs.